They're supposed to protect your neighborhood, but some homeowners say their HOAs have gone too far.
They have forced people to pay thousands and thousands of dollars and have never provided proof that they owe it.
Fines, liens, foreclosures.
It feels like an abuse of power.
Loopholes in Georgia law.
They have no regulations on HOAs, so this is unacceptable.
With homes at risk.
Look at it, another fine.
It's anxiety, it's sleeplessness, it's depression.
Now some homeowners are fighting back, demanding change.
I told them, bring the lien, I'm bringing the lawsuit.
This is HOA Nightmares, an Atlanta News First investigation.
Unchecked power inside close-knit communities. Homeowners associations accused of abusing their authority. In the next hour, Atlanta News First Investigates is uncovering claims of overreach inside quiet neighborhoods. We begin in a Gwinnett County community where dues have almost tripled in 5 years, creating an HOA nightmare.
I'm very fearful. I'm fearful when I leave my home.
Living in fear of confrontation.
That's my mom. You're not going to harass my mom.
On their own properties.
Do we feel safe in our home? No.
The Gregfeld community in Loganville, east of Atlanta.
I always check my camera around the house.
Installing cameras not because of crime.
Bullied. Harassment,
but concerns with their own HOA president.
And I have video of her going outside to inspect.
Just make sure you don't cross the little pink ribbon right there.
We'll start with Frank Bosa.
She sent me a bill that I owe her $137,000.
You heard that right, $137,768.
We have no idea what this fine is for.
I have no idea. My attorney also said there's no indication of any violation.
But Bosa believes
she is interested in taking over my house.
And with an HOA fine more than $2,000 and a 30-day notice, that's legal in Georgia.
I will fight for my house because it's a dream for me and my family.
Down the street, John Coleman feels the same way.
Our property is at risk.
Coleman and his wife moved in to help her parents who are both battling cancer. After arguments over property lines with the HOA president next door, Coleman filed a police report alleging she kicked him. Police said there wasn't enough evidence, but soon after, they too received a fine. This one, $10,000 with no explanation.
We anticipating getting 5 more of these.
They say the stress is taking its toll.
As a result of what's been going on, my mom has been hospitalized, as well as my dad here, and even myself.
Homeowners in the neighborhood tell us they began asking for financial ledgers after their dues went up another $500 this year. In 2019, when the homes first sold, dues were just $500. In 2022, when homeowner Melody Downing took over as president, they rose to $745.
Now we are at $1,316.
The homeowners say Downing elected her own board of 2 people and has only ever shared proposed budgets, never receipts.
This is the budget, 2024.
Grounds and maintenance, $18,000.
$18,000 something on the ground maintenance. I was like, what?
The community is only 28 homes along a 0.2-mile-long street. And homeowners say they're responsible for mowing their own lawns, which leaves HOA grounds to the entrance, the mailbox area, and a retention pond.
I feel like there could be something bad behind the scene.
This year, the board hired a management company and legal to collect dues and fines, a total of $17,000. They also added a $200 special assessment to each home. Atlanta News First Investigates spoke with Downing on the phone, but she said she couldn't comment on anything due to pending litigation. This is Downing holding a HOA meeting in the street, explaining residents have 10 days to fix any non-compliance or pay.
The consequence of them is going to be $35 $500. We do not waive fees.
On February 1st, neighbors called a special meeting to vote for a new HOA board, but say Downing made them pay the special assessment and a late fee in order to vote.
She said, oh, you paid the $200 special assessment, but you did not pay the late fee for $50.
But under Georgia's new Property Owners Association Act of 2024, homeowners can't be denied the right to vote based on outstanding fines, and a late fee can't be more than 10% of the fine.
We held the election. We got the majority vote. And here we are.
That's Takesha Allen, legally the new HOA president.
Now we are in the battle of trying to take it over.
Now taking the battle to court, they say homeowners who voted for Allen are receiving more fines.
Me, I receive a notice saying, you have a unicorn in your garden. You should remove that. I was like, I don't have a unicorn.
This is that so-called unicorn, a garden gnome that's been there for 2 years without issue. They and another neighbor also received fines for their cultural and religious decorations.
I had some decoration that I do it differently because I'm from a different side of the planet.
They say fines keep coming for things like garage doors open or dented and faded shutters.
It is unjustified. It is unlawful.
I have worked so hard to achieve what I have. It's not by crooked way. It's not by stealing. It's not by fraud. It's hard work.
Ahead on HOA Nightmares,
It doesn't make any sense for any hardworking individual to go through these things.
a homeowner fighting back against a lien on her property. Atlanta News First investigates your rights. A Marietta homeowner's decision to lay mulch turns into a frightening HOA nightmare.
Your homeowners association may have more power over your property than you realize. More than 2 million Georgians live in communities with HOAs, with 370,000 community associations in the U.S. They're meant to protect your property values, but in Georgia, they're not regulated. Laws allow HOAs the power to place liens and even foreclose on homes.
But it was very hard. It was hard.
Michelle Bernard remembers the challenges she faced buying her home.
When I came searching in this subdivision, I was advised that I could not afford its subdivision by the realtor.
He was wrong, but 2 decades later, the business owner, wife, and mom says she feels like she's still fighting to own the home.
It doesn't make any sense for any hardworking individual to go through these things.
Michelle lives in Shannon Cove, a subdivision of about 40 homes in Conyers.
This is considered our community's common area.
With 3 of these common grass areas and this retention pond, original homeowners agreed to $100 annual HOA dues, what Michelle describes as reasonable. Today, they're $200, but
they have forced people to pay thousands and thousands of dollars and have never provided proof that they owe it.
Fines and fees for things like pond maintenance and replacing garage doors without HOA permission. Michelle and at least 2 other homeowners tell Atlanta News First Investigates they've asked for receipts and bank statements of where the money's going, but they've never received it.
All they send out is a typed up Excel spreadsheet and want you to believe whatever's on that spreadsheet.
And when they refuse to pay, the fees start to rack up. Court records show the HOA has placed liens on 5 homes for unpaid balances. 2 homeowners tell us they've paid fees just to avoid losing their homes.
I told them, bring the lien, I'm bringing the lawsuit.
Michelle is one of 2 homeowners suing the HOA for the charges that they believe are fraudulent.
They're made up fees.
The community voted for this homeowner to take over as president last year. He wouldn't go on camera for concerns with his day job, but he tells us he resigned when he couldn't get a financial audit.
I'm not going to take over when I don't know what he's done.
That left the previous president, Orton Reynolds, in charge.
I'm with Atlanta News First Investigates. We are currently recording right now. We've received some concerns about the financials with the Homeowners Association, and we wanted to ask you if you're aware of the concerns in the community.
Don't know anything about the concern about any financial of the community.
Reynolds tells us they send financial documentation out quarterly, referring to these Excel sheets.
They claim the money has possibly been misused.
I would say that's an improper and incorrect statement.
Okay.
And not true.
Would you share the receipts and financials with Atlanta News First?
Receipts about what?
Under Georgia law, homeowners have a right to see all HOA receipts.
Georgia has a lot of HOA issues.
Real estate attorney Patience Casey Sadie deals with hundreds of HOA cases a year. Fines, fees, and liens top the list of issues.
There's no monetary limit. What the law bases on is reasonableness.
In Shannon Cove, residents question what's reasonable. Just days after we spoke with the president, homeowners received 2 new emailed policies prohibiting them from divulging personal information and making slanderous statements about other property owners. According to the policy, they must write an apology letter within 48 hours of receiving a warning, and if it's against a board member, that's a $1,500 fine.
They're trying to force me to settle the lawsuit.
Michelle's lien was for less than $3,000, but she says the HOA is offering her a $40,000 settlement, denying most of the allegations.
Why would they offer you money?
To make it go away.
But Michelle says a payout from the HOA's insurance isn't accountability.
I need someone to address this because it's affecting our community.
If you're battling with HOA fines or even navigating issues as part of an HOA board, here's what Georgia law does require. Fines and fees must be considered reasonable. You have the right to view financial records, including itemized receipts. And if your HOA has adopted the POA Act, late fees cannot be more than 10% of the fine itself. To learn more about your rights, go to atlantanewsfirst.com/investigates, then click on HOA Nightmares. One man's HOA battle regarding pressure washing fines could cost him his home.
Everything I had is tied up in this house. All the equity I've got to show for my life.
Atlanta News First Investigates reveals how you can avoid a similar fight.
A 77-year-old Kennesaw man fears he may lose his house to his homeowners association after racking up fines for not pressure washing it and leaving a bucket of water outside. Atlanta News First Investigates uncovers how fines from your homeowners association could end up costing you everything.
The scene of the crime is this north-facing side of my house.
It's a scene that haunts George Watson more than 3 years later.
It's anxiety, it's sleeplessness, it's depression.
A slimy wall, a bucket, and a ladder.
I realized, I had been the architect of my own demise by not opening the mail.
The fines and legal fees, he estimates, now exceed $30,000.
It very possibly means that I'll lose the house.
But it's not the local police after Watson. It's his homeowners association.
This was the original newsletter that came the first year we were here.
George moved into the Cedar Lake Townhome subdivision in Kennesaw in 2001.
These were starter homes. I purchased mine out of a divorce. It was all I could afford. Everything I had is tied up in this house. All the equity I've got to show for my life.
He says he's had his share of disagreements with the HOA in the last 20 years, but now he fears he could lose everything.
During COVID, I developed a neurotic response to mail delivery. I literally just don't want to see mail.
George says when he checked the mail in late 2022,
I had a bill saying, you owe the HOA $6,000. Please send us a check. And I but for what?
He says he had no idea he'd violated any HOA rules and then saw the other letters from July to September. Warnings and then fines to pressure wash the side of his home and to dump water out of a bucket, stating this breeds mosquitoes. And one in November for a ladder on the side of his house.
You cannot see anything on the side of the house.
The fines, $50 a day, equating to more than $1,500 a month with 7% interest for 4 months. George says he borrowed a pressure washer from his neighbor, but didn't get to it until January of 2023. That's when the fines stopped. He says when he tried to negotiate with the board,
there was absolutely no attempt at all to talk to me. And then the knock at the door came.
It was July 2024. The HOA filed a judgment to foreclose on the lien they placed on his home to recover the money he owed, now more than $9,000. Georgia law allows an HOA to place a lien on a home for any amount. They can file to foreclose on the home when that amount exceeds $2,000.
I'm retired and living on a fixed income. Social Security, it amounts to about $20,000 a year. How am I going to pay if I lose the suit?
George says he took out an equity loan on his house to fight for it.
A year of anxiety and worry over the mounting legal costs because it's not over. I think it's added about 5 years of age to me.
Atlanta News First Investigates found George is the only homeowner in the Cedar Lake townhomes that the HOA has taken to court since 2008. But we did speak with several homeowners who said they've also had similar disagreements with the HOA. And when we went to ask the HOA president about George's case, she told us,
"You will need to call our property management company, or our attorneys."
The management company, Tolly Community Management, told us in part that someone choosing not to read their mail is not an association issue. The covenants for the neighborhood state that the notice shall be sent by U.S. mail. For more insight, we sat down with attorney Randy Williams, who represents homeowners as well as HOAs in Metro Atlanta.
There are some times where you just need to tell your client, don't do that. So what are you going to do? You want to take their house? You probably could, but do you think that's the human thing to do to a 70, 80-year-old person?
Instead, he recommends HOAs offer payment plans to people living on fixed incomes and points to a much cheaper solution, often found in the HOA bylaws, called self-help powers, letting the HOA board perform repairs or assist directly.
It would have been cheaper to either knock on his door or move the problem items to the back of his house.
I'm between a rock and a hard place, and there's nothing much I can do about it. This is not the way it's supposed to be for homeowners.
The HOA's lawyers did not respond to our questions, but they have asked a court to enforce the foreclosure on the lien. George is still waiting for the judge's answer.
If you know that your HOA communicates via written mail, check your mailbox often and try to address any warnings right away. Try to negotiate any violation notices or fines with the board and even management company before it's sent to a lawyer, and you start racking up those fees as well.
We also spoke with a former HOA president in George's community. She has nothing to do with his current fines or foreclosure filing, but she explains what it's like on the other side of the fines, fees, and liens, and has her own advice for homeowners.
I would never take someone's home away and make someone homeless. Never, ever, ever, never.
Jan Keene is speaking up for those who volunteer to help run their community associations.
It was a very difficult period. It really was.
While working as a travel nurse, Jan served as the HOA president, secretary, and board member at large in the Cedar Lake Townhome subdivision in Kennesaw when it was first built in the early 2000s.
Because of the strict rules of the TOA, the property values have increased by 86%.
She says the HOAs abusing their power are giving the rest a bad rap.
All these Facebook posts for Karens and Darrens and HOA presidents harassing people. Gosh, people, get a life.
Jan says homeowners should do their research before buying a home.
You need to ask for the last quarter's financials to see if your community is in good standing. Ask for the debt ratio, how many people in the community are not paying their dues, because that is a sign of a very sick community.
In Georgia, sellers and realtors are not legally required to tell a buyer there's an HOA. Real estate attorney Randy Williams suggests checking the community name in court records for any HOA rules you'll have to follow.
You better read the governing documents before you decide to purchase in that community, because you're going to be bound by those documents.
In Cedar Lake, water utilities are included in homeowners' HOA dues. Jan says they never garnished bank accounts or filed foreclosures when she was on the board, but instead they shut off a home's water if the homeowners weren't paying for their share.
There's always a way. Foreclosing on someone's home, I cannot in my heart see that happening.
The Metro Atlanta woman claims her HOA is abusing its power. Atlanta News First investigates after she was slapped with huge fines for adding mulch to her yard.
A Marietta Marietta homeowner says her HOA is selectively enforcing rules. She believes they're targeting her after a dispute with her neighbor. Atlanta News First Investigates uncovers the tactic behind a homeowner haunted by her HOA in what she feels is a grave abuse of power.
I just want it to stop. It's been a complete nightmare.
A nightmare in the Glen Meadows community of Marietta.
Get this off of my property.
He's on the property line which y'all both share, which is totally legal.
A homeowner says her house is haunted by the HOA.
They're saying you changed the footprint of your flower beds and you did not submit an ACC request for it. The violation is not submitting an ACC request.
So we went digging for the skeletons beneath the mulch.
Would you like to do an interview with us?
No, not without my attorney.
The HOA's attorney telling this homeowner,
be governed accordingly.
The thing is, if something changes, nobody in this neighborhood escapes having to put in the form.
This is Kobe.
Danielle Reyes moved to Georgia from California in July 2024.
I worked very hard to become a homeowner.
She had no idea replacing pine straw with mulch would be a grave mistake.
It's unbelievable that I'm being fined for mulch.
With a daily fine of $25, her current HOA bill is more than $4,000, now with a lien on her home. Danielle believes it all started in a dispute over her cutting limbs from her neighbor's tree leaning over her roof. Her neighbor is the HOA board treasurer.
Little did I realize that the consequences appear to be the retaliatory violations that I've received.
When Danielle replaced the pine straw in April, ring camera video shows her neighbor outside upset as the HOA vice president instructs her how to properly place the mulch. You can see the treasurer here in Danielle's cell phone video sweeping away remnants of mulch on her side of the brick. Within weeks, Danielle received an HOA violation letter referencing community covenant rules. No exterior construction, addition, or alteration shall be made without written approval from the Architectural Committee, which we'll refer to as the ACC. The fine said she'd been notified twice before and would be charged $25 a day, which she says made no sense. According to the ACC standards, a landscaping plan isn't required to plant existing flower beds with pine straw, bark, or mulch. Other material requires ACC approval.
See here.
Danielle reached out to the management company, Tolly Community Management, and the HOA board, recording this phone call with the vice president in June, where he references the treasurer took action without consulting the board.
There's nowhere where, Janine's actions that she did in the name of the board was going to stand, because I wasn't asking the questions. There was so much stuff done improperly by so many people. So I said, hey, you know what? This all needs to be thrown out.
They threw out those fines, but said a corrected violation for changing her flower bed would be coming.
You don't come on my property and just start doing shit.
It came 1 week after Danielle hired a surveyor to stake her property lines.
So this is on my side of the property line. You didn't get permission for that.
Her neighbor said it was trespassing and called police.
Hold on. I'm sorry. No. I'm going to tell you. It's kind of no debate.
Officers told her the surveyor was within his legal duties.
Please go back inside while they're doing this.
When we tried to get her side of the story,
are you kidding me?
She wasn't thrilled to meet us.
I'm being harassed now. Further?
We spoke with another homeowner who says she placed mulch in front of her home without approval and never received a violation.
It's a blatant selective enforcement.
Several neighbors agree, telling us they think the HOA selectively enforces rules, something HOA attorneys say is illegal in Georgia. But there's no agency that holds HOAs accountable.
Unfortunately, they have the power of a little government, and there's not much you can do.
This government eyeing a much bigger role. As we found, the HOA president is currently running for U.S. Congress in Chicago, Illinois.
Today, I officially announce my candidacy.
This video posted to YouTube the same week of the police incident and Danielle's new violation.
To become the next United States Congressman from the 2nd District.
There's no higher body in the government to go to and say, hey, by the way, my HOA isn't acting properly. Unless you're going to bring them into court and spend the money to do that and risk paying their attorney's fees on top of it, it can be really tough.
This HOA's attorney, Frank Olson, already charged Danielle almost $700 for one cease and desist letter he sent in September.
Cease further contact with any board member or property manager regarding these matters. Anything else will inure to your immediate and severe financial detriment. Be governed accordingly.
The letter also stating if you do not like the fact that your neighbor sits on the board and has a voice in what happens with your property, perhaps you should have considered that before. The HOA's attorney, management company, and board members did not immediately respond to Atlanta News First Investigates.
I just need this to stop. I really just want to live in peace. There's no reason why I should be threatened with liens over mulch.
You can report your homeowners association issues to Atlanta News First Investigates. Text HOA to the number on your screen to share details about your experience and help us track and report HOA practices in Georgia. A Metro Atlanta woman couldn't pay her dues, so her homeowners association cleaned out her bank account.
They took all of it. It made me feel empty, like I'm already going through this.
Atlanta News First Investigates reveals it's a completely legal practice.
A Fairburn woman's bank account cleaned out by her homeowners association while she recovered from chemotherapy, and the whole thing was completely legal. Atlanta News First Investigates uncovered her story is just one of many cases.
Ayanna Fuller loves her job.
Oh, I drive a school bus.
It's the one thing that makes her light up like this. Though her doctors say she should be taking it easy.
They give me 3 years to live. Just 3.
Discovering she had a rare blood cancer about 2 years ago.
I'm not gonna stop. I can't stop.
She can't stop.
Bills, bills, bills.
Because the bills don't stop.
But see, at the time when I got a counselor, I drove the school bus and I wrote their bills at night. And when they told me, oh, well, you know, you're supposed to go on disability. Don't go to work now. But I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm keeping my house.
Ayanna bought her home in the Lester Point community of Fairburn, Georgia in 2007.
What did it mean to you to be a homeowner?
Oh my God, you gonna make me cry while you on the achievement. I came from born on the projects. I was just so proud of myself and so that I did it. I finally did it.
After her diagnosis in 2022, Ayanna went on family medical leave at work and made calls to her loan providers and her homeowners association asking for deferments until she was better.
I had extensive chemo that first year causing stage 3. So I couldn't work at all. I started a GoFundMe page because of them, and I had my light bills and stuff like that. I was kind of worried because I knew they could take my house.
Ayanna says with proof of her treatment, the banks deferred her house and car payments, but she says the HOA still required dues at $350 a year, and the fees began stacking up.
So I said, okay, let me pay y'all at least $50 or $100 a month. November, I got real sick again. And I had to go back into the hospital, so I couldn't go back to work.
Ayanna says once she fell behind again,
they took all of it.
She received an alert from her bank. The HOA's lawyer garnished money from her bank account.
When you saw that, you were in bed?
I was in bed sick. I had just came from chemo, matter of fact.
$828.54 and a $125 legal fee. Overdrafting her account $855.
It made me feel empty. Like, I'm already going through this.
If this community looks familiar, it's because Atlanta News First Investigates recently reported on several other homeowners' HOA concerns here.
These are all HOA fees.
Residents claim the fines and fees from the hired management company arrive in the mail daily, and when they can't keep up with payments...
They said that I wasn't making payments, but I couldn't. Like, they wouldn't allow me to. So in December, I think I got a mail saying that they were suing me.
Court documents reveal the HOA's in at least 24 active lawsuits for unpaid dues, with dozens of liens filed on homes in the community. We couldn't find contact information for the HOA, but the management company they hired told us that they enforce the HOA rules, and once a homeowner owes money, they must then pay through the HOA's lawyers. That's the Dunlap Gardner law firm, so we called.
Is there any sort of means for people that are struggling to pay their bills to try to ask for payment plans or anything like that?
Attorney Wes Dunlap declined an on-camera interview, but told me over the phone that they're always willing to negotiate and set up payment plans if the HOA board approves. Court records show Ayanna is one of 10 homeowners in the Lester Point community with financial garnishments from January 2023 to June 2025.
To do a garnishment, you first have to get a judgment from the court. And once you get a judgment, you have an option to garnish either wages or the bank account.
It's a legal option for HOAs to collect debts, but Atlanta real estate attorney Randy Williams says sometimes HOA board members aren't involved enough in the entire process.
I believe that some of the property management companies do make it too robotic. And they're not considering these are people's neighbors, that they have unique situations, and that's a problem.
This is what they're asking for now.
In July, Ayanna received a bill from the management company for nearly $1,400, due August 1st.
I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I have learned in counseling not to overthink things, because I get too mad, I get sick. I did sign the contract, but people can't help stuff that happen in life. We just can't.
The management company and the lawyer could not comment on Ayanna's case.
After we first aired this story, we did have an Atlanta News First viewer reach out and pay off Ayanna's full HOA bill. But we spoke with several other homeowners in Ayanna's community who are also facing fines with liens on their homes.
I was able to start making payments with the collection agency or their lawyer, so I can do that, but I still can't speak to anybody at the actual HOA. I'm only talking to the lawyers.
We uncovered that the management company locks homeowners out of their payment portals when their accounts become past due. The management company Century Management told us that they oversee more than 400,000 homeowners in several states. They said an HOA sets the rules and they enforce them. Once an HOA refers a delinquent homeowner to their lawyer, they must pay and correspond through the lawyer.
Ahead on HOA Nightmares, senior citizens thought they were buying into a retirement community. They say they had no idea the builder and community were listed in a federal fraud case.
These HOA boards are full of people that don't know what the hell they're doing.
State leaders are hearing homeowners' testimonies for new laws aimed at protecting you from your HOA.
I love it, and see how peaceful it is back here.
Margaret Wright calls this her forever home.
Welcome to my porch, my little private oasis.
A peaceful place to sit and enjoy the retirement she'd worked so hard to reach. She bought it in 2018, looking specifically for a 55 and older community.
I was told at the time that there were 99 lots over 55, clubhouse, pool, and I said, great.
Fast forward 7 years and 4 building phases later,
we were misled.
The Creekside at Old Town in Conyers, Georgia isn't age restricted, but that's not why they're worried.
Our biggest fear for phase 1 is losing our homes. These were our forever homes.
It's the HOA fees that have more than doubled since they've moved in.
We were told that as houses were sold, it would start to go down. You're talking about very seasoned seniors in phase 1 on very fixed incomes.
After repeatedly asking to take over their HOA, homeowners from all phases hired a lawyer and found out that the community was actually built by 2 different builders and has 2 different HOAs. The original builder is Arcadia Partners, owned by Chris Brogdon. A property manager for the subdivision told Atlanta News First Investigates that Brogdon ran out of money after building the first phase. Court documents show Brogdon sold phases 2, 3, and 4 to another builder and created a separate HOA, but he continued to run both HOAs through a management company called Real Manage.
Phase 1, he had raised them to 275. And we were 228 in 2, 3, and 4. So our question was, why have you raised them to 275 when we all have the same amenities? We were like, listen, if you do not bring them back to 228, we're not going to pay. And so he brought them back down to 228.
We're not naming the second builder because they're not affiliated with Brogdon and have since turned over the second HOA to homeowners. Prior to this investigation, homeowners say they had never seen financial statements.
We have no idea where our money is going each month other than
if we don't pay it, a lien could be put on our homes.
Atlanta News First Investigates uncovered this very community is referenced in a United States Securities and Exchange Commission fraud case against Brogdon. In 2015, the SEC accused him of a 2-decade-long nursing home investment scheme, alleging he took nearly $200 million from investors to fraudulently develop dozens of nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and retirement communities in several states. They say he used the money for a, quote, lavish lifestyle. A court ordered him to pay $90 million back to investors. Brogdon's response to the accusations is sealed in court records, and he didn't respond to us when we requested them. 2 years later, in 2017, while the SEC was trying to collect the money, he and his wife filed for bankruptcy. That same year, his company, Arcadia Partners, began building Creekside at Old Town in Conyers. When we looked up real estate records in the community, we found hundreds of deed filings, most transferring ownership through deeds between Brogdon's different companies. At the same time, the SEC was trying to collect from him, and he and his wife filed for bankruptcy. The Brogdons did not return our calls or emails.
It's just a complete mess out here.
I just want to be retired.
Phase 1 homeowners also requested to take over their HOA, but emails from Real Manage state Brogdon won't turn it over until his loan to the association is paid back and delinquent accounts are made current.
We have no representation, no voice, but we have to pay money.
According to the HOA's bylaws, Brogdon controls the HOA for 20 years or until all of the lots are sold. We matched the plat map with tax records and found Brogdon still owns 13 lots in Phase 1.
But as you can see, the most might be one house here, but you'd have to build it up. This is where the creek is.
Homeowners fear Brogdon is holding on to the lots and the HOA.
It's a scary situation.
Margaret says she and her neighbors don't have the money for a legal fight.
Maybe half of us are now single. We've lost our spouses since we've been out here.
Georgia law allows an HOA to foreclose on a home when they owe more than $2,000.
The thought of me losing my home over $2,000 in debt is scary. I want to stay in my home. Honestly, I don't know if I can now.
Atlanta News First Investigates has not found any HOA liens filed in the community as of November 2025. 2 Senate committees met in the fall to hear from homeowners living in HOA nightmares. We spoke with one of the lawmakers leading the charge to regulate associations in Georgia.
These HOA boards are full of people that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Nearly 24 homeowners speaking out at a Senate Rules Committee hearing, begging for help with their, quote, predatory HOAs.
This is going on everywhere. I didn't know that a HOA could be so strong and could just literally tear a home down. A home, a neighborhood, your property. This is our retirement.
The overarching issue Atlanta News First Investigates found is that there are no Georgia laws that govern HOAs and no office to oversee them. The Secretary of State's office says they're seeing an increase in HOA complaints, but have no power to help.
The noise around the issue has grown, and more legislators are aware of it, thanks to your stories.
Senate Rules Committee Chairman Matt Brass hopes to work on a bill he started in the 2025 session, SB 361. In Georgia, an HOA can fine a homeowner for any amount and place a lien on a home for any amount not paid. They can then file to foreclose on the home when the amount exceeds $2,000. This bill would raise that amount to $4,000 and does not allow fines to be included, only yearly dues. It would also require HOAs to register and file financial documents with the Secretary of State's office, allowing the office to oversee and enforce rules.
This bill is going to be the foundation that we build off of in making sure that we do seek balance.
The Senate Rules Committee is looking at SB 361, but Senator Donzella James is hoping to revamp bills she introduced last session, SB 107 and 108.
By the second week of January, we want to make sure we have a real HOA bill that will reform the way everything is working now, and we will be able to save people's homes.
Many of you have reported your own HOA issues to Atlanta News First Investigates. Of about 115 Georgia homeowners who responded to our survey, 71 people said they owe fines and fees with an average total amount near $10,000. That's excluding outliers. Now, survey respondents reported single fines ranging from $25 to $700. 30% have liens on their homes, with about 40% in lawsuits. You've been watching HOA Nightmares with Atlanta News First Investigates. For more, go to our website, atlantanewsfirst.com/investigates, and click on HOA Nightmares.
How many innocent people do you have to search before you find what you're looking for?
These are lives that are at stake.
How much of this funding has gone towards your nonprofit?
You also have eyes and ears, and you know what's in that internal affairs investigation.
You guys can't explicitly say, we are investigating this doctor.
You latched on and you never let go.
It sounds to me like you're doing work as a general contractor. Yes, sir. Are you a licensed general contractor? No, sir.
We expect you to do better.
We would still be stuck. We would not be here if it were not for you.
Exposing corruption.
Finding solutions.
Protecting your money.
Helping you stay safe.
Uncovering the truth.
Join us. We're Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates, Sunday nights starting at 7.